Welcome to P226's channel. This is my review of the Walther PPQ. This is the box. You will get it in when you buy it brand new. Let me open it up. Inside the box, you have the Walther itself, extra back straps, extra magazine, a loader, lock, manuals, target, shell casing. We'll go through that here in a minute. But you do actually get two magazines with this gun. One in the gun and one in the case. And this is the subject of our review, the Walther PPQ. Let's talk about philosophy. This, for me at least, is a full-size go-to-war pistol slash compact, possibly concealed carry pistol. The reason I put it like that is because for most companies this would be a compact, yet for Walther this is a full-size. All of Walther's pistols seem to be on the smaller side. Even their subcompacts are usually a little bit smaller than most other companies. Take the PPK back in the 40s. Was smaller than any other gun of its type. Or the PPS, when it came out, was considerably smaller than any other subcompact on the market, except for maybe the PF9, which came out about the same time. I'm also going to throw in sniper's pistol, lightweight gun, holds a lot of rounds, can be hauled long distance. This has been included in other reviews such as Nothing Fancies, and I actually kind of agree with it for that POU. It would make a fairly good sniper's pistol. The track record. This gun's basically brand new on the market. Although, in my opinion, it inherits the P99's track record because it and the P99 are so similar that you can actually interchange parts and still have a functional gun. You can take the slide off a PPQ and put it on a P99 frame. So, yeah, they're basically the same gun. Just they changed the outer appearance of the PPQ and gave it a new name. So I would say the track record is excellent. Caliber, it's available in 9mm or 40. Sorry, I was thirsty. In 9mm it holds 15 rounds, and 40 I think it's 12. The one you see on the table is a 9mm. I actually don't like the 40 caliber round, personally. I don't think it's all that much more effective than the 9mm. It's something you won't hear that often. And you lose 3 rounds in almost any magazine. Sorry, it's allergy season here. Anyway, and in my opinion, the 40 cal is basically a wimped out 10mm. So if you're gonna carry that cartridge, why not just go full on and get a 10mm, or go to a 45 ACP? I don't see the point of having the in-between cartridge, for me at least. Magazine. The magazines are actually excellent on this gun. They're see if I can find the marking. Made in Italy, if you can read that, which anyone in the gun industry knows, when you see made in Italy like that on a magazine stamped in that style, that has to be a Metgar magazine. And as it happens, Metgar makes a magazine that looks just like that for some other guns, so chances are very, very, very high that Metgar makes Walther's mags. Uh, they're very reliable, robust, everything anyone's ever said about a Metgar magazine. Accuracy. For me, this gun was not very accurate. It's one of the kind of downsides I would see to it, but I think you could probably fix that with some better sights. The sights on this gun suck, in my opinion. See if I can find someplace where you can see them. There's a lot of air in them, tiny dots. I mean, when you compare it to like a SIG or a Glock sight picture, if I can get that to stay, it's just nowhere near as good. And if you swap those out for a pair of Mepper lights or Trijicon night sights, which I'm going to do eventually anyway, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But as it sits with factory sights, for me, it shoots about a 4-inch group at 15 yards, which is pretty fucking inaccurate. Compared to a SIG, that'll shoot, I don't know, half that size group at 25 yards. Part of that with me is the trigger too, because I don't like striker fired triggers. I don't like the Glock. And that's another thing with this. If you don't like the Glock, don't get this. Because that's one of the things I'm still a little unsure if I'm even going to keep this or not. It is a big improvement over the P99 in a lot of ways, but the P99's trigger was definitely better, in my opinion. It's much more accurate. Size and weight, I'd say it's basically identical to a Glock 19. It's probably a little bit wider and a little bit lighter, but otherwise it's identical. It's also identical size-wise to a SIG 228, in case you have one of those. Ergonomics, this is the most ergonomic pistol I've ever owned. It's, you know, I don't see how you could not love the way this pistol feels. And the magazine release is perfection. I actually really like the way Walther does this. I don't like H&K because they make a little lever you have to hit with your thumb. Walther extends the whole thing across the bottom of the trigger guard. Makes it where it's truly ambidextrous and you just use your your fingers on the other side. Materials this is constructed out of. I would actually say that the finish and the polymers and everything about this gun is just a little bit higher quality than the typical Glock. Glocks to me always kind of had a, I don't know, rough and ready feel about them. This is a little bit more refined of a gun than a Glock. A little bit higher class. I'm not saying that the Glock is, you know, low quality or anything, but they definitely polished it a little bit more with when Walther made this. Durability and reliability. For me, this gun's been 100% reliable. I think it's a very durable design. Basically, like I said, it's a Glock in a lot of ways. I'm going to add a caveat to that though. The trigger is very different from a Glock. It's a lot lighter than a Glock. I'd say it's even lighter than a Glock with a 3.5 pound disconnect in it. It feels kind of like a single action trigger. In fact, it feels a lot like the P99 single action trigger. Sorry, where was I? Oh, variations. Right now this is offered in 3 variants. You have the regular PPQ, the PPQ First Edition, and the PPQ Navy. I don't think the Navy is actually even shipping here to the United States. I'm going to mention it because it probably will eventually. And it's basically a version of the gun meant to be fired underwater. It has some sort of system in the striker that clears water out of the path of the striker, because apparently Glocks or some other striker-fired pistols have had issues firing underwater, according to Walther, although I remember one of Glock's original selling points in like the 80s or 90s was this gun will fire underwater, so I'm not real sure what's up with that. The Navy and the first edition both have night sights and threaded barrels. I think the Navy's offered in either way you want it, threaded barrel, non-threaded barrel. Accessories, right now there's only a few I can mention. Pretty much all the holster manufacturers I've looked at make a holster for the PPQ. Magazine wise, the 15 rounders are virtually impossible to find. That's right, I've looked high and low, and if you want to pay $60 for one, you can find them that way. The only ones I've really found reliably are the 17 rounders, which usually sell for $60. So if I was going to buy a mag right now, I'd definitely get the 17 rounders because it's the same price for one with the plus T base plate versus without. Cheaper than dirt has these mags for 50 bucks. But they're always out of stock. I've never seen them in stock, and I've looked for a while. I think they're having trouble keeping up with the demand on the magazines and actually getting them out to distributors. And I would say magazine cost is definitely a negative on this gun, because you can get a Mekgar Sig Mag for like 25 bucks, and yet this is made by Mekgar and it's twice the price. I don't see the reason. I've had a couple people say, well, you know, that's what you get when you're buying a Walther. Their accessories are going to cost more. It's the way it is. It's a higher class pistol. Well, no, not really. The gun itself costs, you know, 500 bucks. That's about the same as Glock. Their accessories should be about the same as well if they want to be competitive. Just my 2 cents. Other than night sights, which I mentioned earlier, that's about all the accessories. Which, by the way, for anyone interested in night sights for this, it is P99 night sights that fit this. I looked into it, and I had a P99 and a PPQ. Their sights are interchangeable, so you don't need special PPQ night sights. That's another thing, is when it comes to this gun, a lot of the parts are interchangeable with P99. So, you know, if you can find 9mm P99 mags, I'd try those. So my bet is they're exactly the same. Considering my 40 caliber P99 mag locked in, fit perfectly, and fired out of this PPQ frame. I swapped out the magazine and slides on each of these and tried firing them in the others because I was just curious to see if it would work or not. And they fit so well and function tested so well, I figured it couldn't hurt, and I was right. They functioned 100% with each other's slides and magazines. I have a comparison video and a review on the P99 as well. So if you're interested in those, go watch them. If not, yeah, whatever. Compatibility with your systems. There's nothing for this to be compatible to unless you have a bunch of Walther P99s, maybe. I mean, that talking point really is for other types of guns than this, because this is just so new and so, you know, out there. It's not compatible with much anything except other 9mm handguns. Value. Considering the quality I think you're getting with this for the price, it's very high value. I paid 530 bucks for this out the door. A Glock at the same dealer was 580 out the door. So 50 bucks less. Your magazines are going to cost a little bit more, but really, if you're only going to buy a couple mags, that's not a huge deal. As far as night sights, the Glock's going to need night sights too. None of them come with it really, and when they do, they're going to charge you for it. I think it's very competitive except for the price of the accessories. And quite frankly, that's why I'd probably pick other handguns, would just be because of the price of the accessories. Unless this was like a first handgun or something like that, first and only maybe. If you're a prepper and looking for a gun, and you want something that's really going to be reliable, it's going to have a very long life and super high quality, I would recommend this over the Glock, just because of the quality. And also from a prepping standpoint, anyone who picks up this gun can use it. It has full right-handed controls and full left-handed controls. It is fully ambidextrous. It's very, very nice. Here, let me show you the factory target real quick. I'm almost out of camera space, so I'm going to wrap this up here real quick. This is the test target from Walther. So that's what it's capable of according to them. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and be sure to thumbs up the video. Have a nice day.